Okay, we're live again. So a few things are going to be different. I'm using different hardware. Uh, I'm using the webcam and the mic again because the one software I was using, the StreamYard, I guess is a free app, but you're limited. I was using it because I could also highlight the comments and put them here on the screen. But what happened was you only get so many hours a month free, or you got to start paying like 50 or $100 a month to use their software. So I hit that limit. I got an email notification. You hit your free limit. This is a date it'll reset, and if you use it, we'll just cut you off or something. It's one of them things. And then I had issues with the hardware using the microphone. Uh, when I plug it in, shuts off certain things. I had to go and you know they were disabled, so I had to go and change some things around. But it'll be a little bit different software wise. And I don't know if I can on these live post the comments like I do. That's a pretty neat feature. That somebody tunes in later, they can see what's going on. But I guess the chat went well Sunday. We had Rodney's side by side, the guy that runs Rod's side by side channel creator, as a guest, and it was nice of him to stop by. A lot of people like that format when we have some other guests. I guess they get tired of looking at my ass. So we got that going on, and also I'm doing this in the morning because it's just we went to a friend's house yesterday. We were invited for dinner, so we stayed out late. But if not, I would have been on the way to the range, which I'm going to do tomorrow and try to get some range time in this week while the weather is good. And I'll be doing my lives later in the afternoon, probably sometime around 1 o'clock, changing the times for me to get here, unless there's something unprecedented. And let me see. Channel activity pin report remove. See, I can't pin message. See what this does. I'm gonna unpin it. Yeah, I can't get the messages up here. I'm getting some from the guys. All right, Sean. And I'm sorry that this format doesn't show the comments for a day or two on there. But yes, that's what's going on. And this week, I know we're asking. Morning, Peter. The hurricane. Fortunately, the area I lived in, I have a friend also in Georgia, and the area he lived in, we had rain and some winds, but nothing terrible is happening. That is something that's devastating to this state. There is a total region that is destroyed, and there are several people down at the Legion and that have family members that live out there. They're kind of nervous, but by now they've gotten in contact with anyone. But there's some other people I'm going to check with to see if they're all right and their family members are all right. I had a couple of the relatives I have left from New York calling and asking me, and one of my friends did call uh, and want to know if we were okay because they really don't understand the relationship of where we live in North Carolina, compared to where the areas that were hit are. Um, but yeah, this is not good. This strange, critical time to have a disaster of this magnitude. And there is another storm out in the Atlantic about 10, 20 days out. But, um, you know, hopefully this will not impact in the area. I guess their immediate projection is it would kind of hit like on the opposite side of Florida, not from the Gulf, but from the Atlantic side. And that in itself, with all the things we discuss about the economy, about politics, about how things are going in the country, that in itself uh, is an economic disaster. Okay, what's happened to this state is an economic disaster. Any other states, um, this adds more stress, more uncertainty, more pressure. And like I said, I always wonder, will I run out of new topics? Well, no, I guess they're going to have a strike of all the longshoremen along the whole East Coast. They're all going on strike. Okay, and that means they're not going to offload material or unload for any of the shipping that goes on. And a lot of goods do move on the water by ship. Okay, a lot more than people realize. The importance of our commercial fleet or our ports, to have ports and have them running right. And I learned that as a naval cadet. Sea power is a key critical thing to the functioning and the economy and our national security to keep the sea lanes open. I forget what it was, and it's going back 40, 50 years. They said they can only 98% of material in terms of military, okay, in the old days, if they had to go overseas or project military force, 98% of it's going by ship. Okay, it's not going in the air. They can air transport, but the amount of planes you'd need is it's impractical. So yeah, a strike, and then they're talking again. Now we're going back to uh, disruption in the supply chain with the strike. So if they ain't unloading stuff, which I forget when the hell the last thing they had it. Well, it was when the Suez Canal got blocked and they couldn't move the products. Ships were idling and waiting offshore. They were overwhelmed with offloading, and then it's like a whole bunch of empty containers were in one place. So they were running out of the containers that get craned in and out, go on the car, the container ships, and then they're placed on a frame for a tractor trailer, or they can be stacked and locked on flat cars for rail transport. So, again, we're getting hit. Is their complaint justified? I didn't look into it. All I've been alerted is that it's happening, and already they're starting with the supply chain disruption and all this other crazy crap that happened. I remember that. I did remember, and that's the first time in my life that I've seen certain products. I forget what it was. It was in the frozen food section of the stores. Not that I actually bought them, but it's just when you walk by, you see the damn thing is full all the time. Then to see these things empty and empty for months on end, it is quite shocking. You know, maybe they did get a little bit in and then it was gone instantly, but yeah, that the cause of it, I don't know. I didn't get into the plant. All right, yeah. So you see, with all of this going on, it's kind of like the storm was somewhat unexpected. My wife got pretty emotional over it because after talking to some of the people that we know, you know, you're sitting there one day just living your damn life, and oh, a storm's coming, and they happen. You know, we don't live on the beach or the coast, because there was a storm about a month ago or something where people lost their houses and beach houses and all this stuff. There was a lot of damage recently to those on the outer banks in North Carolina, but that's like expected. Okay, that's why your house insurance is astronomical out there. But to go this far inland where you least expect it and have everything gone, we're talking you're there one day and then your house is no longer there. All right, it's like the wildfires in California. They had whole areas that everything was burnt to the ground. I mean, you lost it all. Um, you know. Okay, so we got chemical plant on fire in Atlanta. Yeah, my friend that lives down there in Georgia said Atlanta got hit real, real bad. And see, a lot of these plants, like aluminum cast plants, and that where I worked, them furnaces run 24 hours a day. That metal's got to be kept molten because they pipe it through to the casting machines. And if we lose power, we've lost power. There's so many hours where that metal will solidify in the piping or the system, and it's a problem. Uh, Chemical plant, obviously, there's something in there running all the time, and if it gets flooded or something goes amiss, probably that's why it caught on fire. Okay, so there's a lot of these things that you don't realize, and also the casting plant. If you get water in that friggin' place while that thing is molten, they explode like a bomb and take stuff out for a couple hundred yards anywhere around that. So you see these industrial accidents or something that nobody really thinks about until there's a disaster. And the Middle East, God only knows. I know they're going berserk there, and it's escalating. All right. COVID did a number on our supply chain for computers in my job. Surely don't need any more of this nonsense from these guys after we've just gotten over it to make a new large purchase. Yeah, I mean, because if they decide they're not going to offload the damn material from where it's being sent from, yeah, your stuff can be uh, hung up for a while. As long as global warming continues, which it will definitely get worse, which is hurricane addiction. See, this global warming, I've seen that's kind of hard to argue. It's just this planet does have changes in the weather pattern. Okay. We had an ice age at one time 10,000 years ago. Um, and then it changed without industry or a lot of people or anything. So uh, they had a mini ice age, I believe, in the 1600s, where the weather changed and things got pretty bad. And again, there was no industrial carbon monoxide, the global population was lower. Um, and it's like we had some strange weather patterns back in the 90s. And I remember some guys are saying, well, my grandfather's brother told me they call it Indian summer. We got like up in upstate New York. Usually after December, January, or February, those are the toughest months for winter. So to have it thaw and warm up to where a lot of the animals that hibernate start stirring in February is unusual, and that happened one year, and everybody, oh, global warming, and uh, guy told me his great uncle told him back in the late 20s, early 30s, it happened, which is strange. And for a period of years, I remember snowfall when I was a child up there. We had a bunch of snow days, and to where we were crippled by the snowstorms. And then through the 80s and 90s, I don't think I shoveled any snow to get my car out of the driveway, or it snowed only about 4 or 5 inches, and I just drive over it and go to work, type of thing. And then all of a sudden it changed. So we're back where now you get up, there's 4 foot of snow. You ain't driving through that. You got to start digging. Um, so the global warming thing, I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of crap dumped in the atmosphere and it ain't good. But weather patterns, a lot of it has to do with the damn water currents, the rise of temperatures in the ocean, the caps melting. But this all happened before. Uh, let's see. 45 degrees at my house right now feels like 48. Well, that ain't too terrible. Coming out of an ice age. Yeah, to the extent, and granted, they prove that if you do shut down a lot of industry and stop pumping crap into the air and the water, it does have an effect on things. But, 82 where I am, it's 70 something. Yeah, because I think, what is it, 70 in the house? I shut my air off months ago. I ain't got nothing running. I mean, it gets a little warm. I got ceiling fans. I turn them on. Nothing to die of a heat stroke or nothing like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. If it ain't one damn thing, it's another thing. Um, with what's going on. And then weird thing, I went down to American Legion. People, what's the spot price on silver today? And I'm like, oh, now I'm giving you info on this, and which 31.22. Not bad. What the hell was gold? Gold is set at 2006 38.90. It was up to 2006 66. That's crazy. Nobody knows how that's going to go. Okay, so we got Megabait there from, he's on the very edge of the disaster area. Got my electric and internet back on. Okay, great. Very lucky. Just got. All right, I'm glad you didn't, catch the brunt of it. I know Hickory was on there as a place that got tore up, but if you've seen where the roads washed out and the landslides and a lot of the other things there, it ain't good. I still got to check with some people I know that I know have family that live in the western part of the state. Yeah, with the gold, I really, because it's done it in the past. I remember that time it had to run to 1800 or something years ago. And when it hit 1,000, a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's impossible," and especially the older people. They remember when it was $300 400, and now you're saying 1,000. And the thing is, most people really don't fool with it. There are people that buy silver and gold. They're on YouTube. Just look around. You have all kinds of uh, influencers and channels and guys talking about it. Guys, there's the brothers there that tell you every week who's got a special and what website to go to. there's a lot of people that accumulate it, but the practicality of trading in it also is not what you'd think. You know, to liquidate, you have to use your head and have a system or somebody you can deal with that will give you cash in a satisfactory manner for it. Well, yeah, because what everyone's doing, the reason for the buying it, they're not, like they explained. Uh, it just has a value. It's an asset. So when you're running a bank, you just don't get a building and start taking people's money in and giving people money out without some sort of a basis or a base. And especially when a country's economy, got to have something that has value to back up whatever the hell you're going to talk about. And it is true. The economy's a mess. And like one guy said, an economy of a country is it's managed by the government. If the government is honest and the government is doing things in the proper manner, then your country will have a decent economy and stability, okay, financial stability. And a lot of these countries that don't have issues, Zimbabwe, Brazil was another one. They're that's where you've seen hyperinflation, or they change a series of the banknotes. The Russians have done this because ever since the fall of communism, it's been nothing like a zoo over there. I don't even know what the hell rubles are worth. I think they're point zero zero something to the dollar. Um, but yeah, if you collect paper money, there's a lot of different series to go through, um, and that's where they change the currency. Of course, see, like I showed you when I showed you them old bills from 1900, them giant $1 bills, say paying silver. If you take that to the bank, they're not going to give you silver, or like the $10 gold one, they're not going to give you gold. But if you give it to them and say, give me a new bill, it's still worth $1. Okay. You know, you can still take it somewhere and somebody will give you $1 for it. So that's never changed. Okay. That's the strange thing about the United States is money. Okay. It has changed in a way, but the paper money, well, you could still take it back to a bank and get, you know, that $10. You're not going to get $10 in gold, but you'll get $10 for it. 1986 in government class in high school, gold was 386 an ounce. Yes, that is true. Our teacher brought in the gold to show the class, and that is how he was preparing for retirement. Okay, well, yeah, you can put your money in gold. If I did that and I just put away what I put in my 401k, I'd probably be a lot better off right at this moment. But then again, see, it's not the same thing. It have to be timed. Like say when I retired, gold was only $1,800 an ounce. Now it's 2,600. So there's no way to time it, a good time, bad time. And then if you say, well, I want to see it go to 3,000 an ounce, and then it drops back down to 1,600 an ounce, you know, that's the thing about it. I mean, it's fun, it's nice, and yeah, it is an investment. It does have value, but it's the metals have always been too volatile. Okay, where compared to the stock market, if you get a good mutual fund and it raises up over the years, and if there isn't an adjustment where you lose a shitload of money, it's a little bit more stable. But nowadays, nothing's stable. Nothing's Okay, smart guys. It's $35 an ounce. Yeah, but back then we couldn't own it in the U.S. No, it didn't because there were countries that still used uh, gold, and that's why you won't see it used in currency no more. A lot of people say, "Oh, they're going to start issuing, silver dime." No, they're not, because the metal is so volatile. And the reason from 1933 to 1967 that it did not fluctuate much is because it was used for coinage, money, currency. Okay, it's like the reason we got off the silver standard or having silver coins was because for years, all those years, silver was artificially priced at a certain level. They wouldn't let it go up because it's like now you got these old pennies. Let's see this one here. This is a new one made out of zinc. But if you get an old one, there's actually more copper in the penny than 1 cent. Okay. And this is why they have to change the alloy. Yeah, like this here, you can tell even the weight of this thing. It's zinc. But greetings from Helene, South Carolina. Hope everyone's well. All right, Dan. Yeah, we're all doing good. All right. So you had a chart to watch the metals. I mean, you can go online and get them. The historic charts, and with anything, with stocks, with the metals, with anything you do, price of oil. Okay, there's a way. There's people. That's what they do for a living, is try to kind of assess how this is going to go, and you do that through labor reports, economic reports, things like that. You get that, and traditionally, that's what you do: is you take all this official information and sort it out and try to figure out where it's going. Well, that don't work because just about everything you see, all the official reports are lies and they're fake. Uh, so that's why it makes no sense. Like you said, it's all gone to heck. But the reason is what you're being told and what is reality are two different things. And also, corruption on a global level has gotten to the point where nothing really makes sense anymore. Okay, it's very bad. Okay, and then you throw in, not only do we have political tensions, economic tensions, now you throw in the national disasters, a strike or two. I mean, it's just, people said this later part of the year here. We're already going into October. About the only bright thing about October is I went and got a barrel of the Hofbrau, whatever, from Munich, uh, beer, Oktoberfest beer. I guess that's the official beer of Oktoberfest. Uh, so some weekend I'll get some soft pretzels and crack open this tub of beer and have a couple glasses to celebrate Oktoberfest. Uh, Yeah, so I said there is a bright side to things. If North Carolina got hit hard, I'm assuming I don't know. One report I seen from South Carolina, they had a lot of trees down, they had a lot of rivers overflowing, but you see, and I know Georgia got flooded, but Savannah or some or one of the areas there. I got to talk. My friend's going to call me later. Um, it's kind of strange. Okay. The problem with the mountains is when they went up in the mountains, you got these hills, valleys, and stuff. They got 30 inches of rain dumped on them in one day. Okay. And there are three dams up around there from Tennessee that go down, and there's three dams. And what happened? The older, smaller one failed, and that created some issues. There was a second one that they said was going to fail, but it didn't. The engineers are checking it, and they had to let they relieve them, open the gates, floodgates, relieve it, got everything stabilized, and they said that the structure was stressed, but it looks like it'll hold. And then there's an even larger one down more into North Carolina, I believe, and they were, that thing was full right to the top, and they had to release, open the floodgates there and release it, and it all kind of calmed down. The only problem is if we get hit again with another rainstorm, because they had whole sides of mountains, they had landslides, mudslides. A lot of the roads were washed away. I mean, eroded because you just had this water shooting in where it never does on a stream or something, and now you got a huge river and that force. It tore a lot of roads out. I mean, and I don't know how they're going to fix that. I mean, it's all eroded away. The side of the hill, the road, the whole 9 yards. So, to do South Carolina. Yeah, so South Carolina, I didn't hear nothing, or at least the one person that put something up there. And like here, you're going to get bombarded. In North Carolina, all they're going to talk about is our state. They're not going to show us nothing from Florida or Georgia. None. When she worked in the UE, yeah, I mean, trying to get it back into the country, yeah, that's going to be tough. Uh, Taxes and everything. All right, so Dan's down there. Augusta got hit worse. Okay. So yeah, but like I said, we're not seeing that. We're seeing more about what's going on in our own state. All right, so now we got something about the longshoremen. My friend who's a longshoreman, Port Newark, said they're putting up security around the dock area, cranes, lots as we talk, maybe. Yeah, maybe it is time to kind of stock up if they're putting security around. That ain't good. Morning, Alan. Yeah, because, well, we already, any of the extra supplies we got, because they're asking for us to send stuff. So, like, all the damn water, extra water we had, and canned goods and stuff my wife had stored. She took them down to on the way to work. She stopped, loaded the whole trunk full of stuff, and donated all of that at a church. There's a church that's a collecting point for us to bring stuff for relief to be sent to the other part of the state. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should hit the Costco with a cart and get some stuff, or give a check here. Yeah, there's Joel. There's a tropical storm uh, in the Gulf now, and by Thursday they'll figure out what it is, and that's going to be more rain. It's not going to be a hurricane, but something out in the Atlantic's coming that way, and there's a possibility that we're in the Gulf. It hit on it one side, Florida. That this thing's going to hit Florida, Georgia, impact on that, uh, which would be even more disastrous uh, in 10 to 20 days, because they're not going to recover from the initial crisis, and to get hit with another storm, uh, it, because it is, if you see the pictures, it's bad. Bridges are gone and stuff and everything. I mean, if we get hit with another one, that's going to be even way worse. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, Shane, Asheville is bad, but there's when you go up in that mountainous area and drive, there's a lot of little towns and stuff there. And when them dams broke and all the water, it just comes down through them valleys, and you got a river where maybe you had a stream or something. Now you got a river that's as wide as the whole town. Okay, and that's what did a lot of it. Well, see, it's not so much what's imported; it's when they start shutting down the whole transport system and go nuts. You know that a lot of the food you get in there don't come from the United States. If you ever been shopping, they're asking for a lot more money. That's not going to be good. This is not the time to be doing that. I mean, what kind of percentage are they looking to get? $700 check for the fire. All right. Yeah, and then the borders are who the hell knows. I guess they said that the president will visit. I guess they need him for something. Still, he's going to come and visit the areas hit in Florida first, probably Georgia. And he said if he doesn't interfere with the rescue, his visit doesn't interfere with the rescue or rebuilding process, which I don't understand what the hell that means, but at least they said they're going to get the president out of storage and have him visit. Yeah, I mean, but still, clearing that stuff. I mean, here's a bridge. It's covered with trees, cars, bits of houses and stuff. And I don't know what the integrity of the bridge is, even though the water's gone. Did they wash away enough out of pylons or the structural damage? Just clearing the damn bridge and hoping it don't collapse is going to be. Yeah, and there's like I said, there's a couple more. They're saying 10 to 20 days. They might have one to come in. Yeah, well, Trump has been going. He's been busy, and then looking like I told you guys about this information, looking at the news at a glance. I was trying to see what was going on. There's some weird news thing I'm getting, and it's not the normal ones. And it says mass shooting, uh, 17 people killed, and I'm like trying to go through all this advertisement and crap. You're talking about an incident that happened somewhere in a rural town in South Africa. Okay, so this fake news, because when I seen that, I said, "Oh God, here we go again." Uh, if they had another shooting here in the U.S., the gun control and everyone going berserk, um, because there was a video the guy was going around asking people about this, and everybody wants AR-15s banned, large capacity magazines banned, all this other stuff banned, and uh, yes, DJT, last visit, 13 Arlington families. Okay. America built geothermal power plants. Well, the reason they don't do stuff like that is like hydroelectric dams. Once you build them, the energy's pretty cheap. You can't force people to pay. And nobody wants cheap, clean, free energy. That's against, the whole fabric of the world. But they could do it. That's what Tesla uh, wanted to do, is just generate it, and it would be free. And he was working with J.P. Morgan all them years ago and competing with Edison and all these people uh, about how they're going to distribute electricity. And when Morgan found out that it would just be set up and broadcast like a radio, radio, you buy the radio, the communication floats through the air, you know, um, you don't have a meter how much you listen to the radio and get charged. Well, he didn't quite like that idea and stopped funding them. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of ways for them to generate power locally on a local basis, geothermal or whatever, or hydroelectric, and they ain't gonna let that happen. Lake Lure and I-40 is gone now. Yeah, I-40 is, there's sections of it missing, and that's the main interstate in connection to transport in this country. I mean, it's damaged. I doubt very much it's going to be a while before you could go, like, drive down I-40 and get to Tennessee. That's not going to be happening for a while. And we get hit with another damn hurricane, you know. Iceland produces 90%. Yeah, okay, but it's a small country. It ain't like here. Nobody likes the idea of something they can't make a shitload of money out. Okay, and here we go. Iceland is a volcano. They also have no, almost no people or industry. In the U.S., it would never be more than a local thing. Yeah, that's what I thought. It'd be something generally to cover a small area. It's nothing you can uh, transport like the high power lines, over long distances. But yeah, it's not good. We're all lucky. Nothing's happened to anybody, at least not to anybody I know. I got to make one more phone call after I'm done here, talk to the neighbor and see if his family's all right. I know his daughter and his grandkids live out there somewhere. And check on him, just to be nice. Um, yeah, so don't know. And if there's another one, like I said, that's the estimation is 10 to 20 days out. Uh, you get hit again, even close, it might not be the same exact spot, but if it hits Florida on the other side, it's still going to go up in the Georgia, South Carolina, and my state here. Uh, that would not be good, especially if it hit another part of the state. Okay. Uh, Not exactly the same area, but close enough. That would not be good. There's your, and on top of a uh, longshoreman strike. That ain't good. But yeah, now that you mention that, forget who said that. Might be a good time to go pick up a few more bottles of water and some other stuff. Because it potential for things getting really bad are there. And that's something, it's not panicking or anything, but it is there. And it'd be screwed up. We need some political unrest or shit to add into the mix. But fortunately, been pretty fortunate that a lot of these groups and protests and crazy crap, of course, that would not fit into one of the keys there if this all of a sudden mysteriously happened. That would throw that projection off. Of course, I believe all of that is faked anyway. Control the technology. Is it just the West Coast ports? The map I seen, Peter, it's the East Coast, all of the East Coast ports. Because I think there's a difference. I forget how the union is with them, but it's like in the old days in the Depression and that. I forget. There was something once. There was a riot uh, in San Francisco, some sort of a labor problem where they called the National Guard in back in the 30s or 20s or something. And I actually been where on the street there where them ports were. That's where we pulled in on them piers when we have a port visit. We didn't go to the base. Um, and I've seen that, and I forget there is something where each coast, I think maybe has a different union or something, or there's something different about it. And when I was down in Charleston, my neighbor was a truck driver, and all he'd do is shuttle containers down to Savannah. And I remember driving down there with him. I've been down at the port in Savannah, and I've seen how they do all that and all that other crazy shit. Um, True. The keys aren't likely fake. Oh, I said if they start civil unrest, it'll throw one of the keys off. See, that's why they're not doing it. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got someone here. Good morning. Gold is a good investment, but the way things are going in our country, brass may have be a better investment. That's kind of true. The stream work. Nothing but interruptions. Interruptions from what? Just in the stream itself, or ads, or what are the interruptions you're talking about? Oh, all right. I ain't got no control over that. Ain't got no control over that. But the internet, see, we didn't lose nothing. I know what he's megabit. Um he's got his internet and he's got electricity. So that's good. That's a good start. Like I said, I don't know, and like 20 days out, if we get hit with another storm, man, you're gonna be good. So not a good thing. And then throw the strike in. But if they're putting security and barricading, is that because the strikers are gonna become uh, do something to sabotage the stuff? You know, that's weird. Because that's where all that stuff loading, offloading, very busy. But hell, I didn't even know they still had unions. All right, just got a text from a guy in Port New Jersey. Was told expect a strike. All right, man. Megabay, thanks. Looks like I'm gonna have to go out myself, kind of take a look at what's going on, pick up a few items, I guess, to see. All right, Alan. Yes. So now it gets me thinking. hmm, Should I look and see what's going on? I do have to run some errands today. Maybe that would be a good thing to do. Run some errands. All right. So yeah, like I said, never a dull moment. I really didn't think that I could go with a live every day and uh, have something to discuss, but I guess I was wrong. Good morning, Sailor. Yeah, we're having. I'm on a different format because it's StreamYard. Uh, I'm limited in hours a month, and I hit my limit, so I can't do it for free anymore. So I'm on this other thing, which a lot of guys that tune in aren't going to be able to see the comments until later on. Uh, yeah, Joel, you're up there on the outer fringes of the U.S. Um, isn't that by the Great Lakes? So yeah, you should be right on the lakes there. I know the weather can get a little bit out of control. VP debate at 2 tomorrow. All right, so if I start at 1, I may have to set something up where we can get to the TV and see how this starts. That would be a fun live broadcast to have them in the background carrying on. Might do that. I might be able to set a laptop up and do that. Oh, what's that? Let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah. It's my financial advisor, spam risk. So about the only good thing about having a landline with, uh, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna, cause I want to go do some things in the morning. So the rest of the week, Peter, I may be. I'll put a short thing up here later in the afternoon. I'll change it to 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard because I want to get out to the range. I have to go super early in the morning when no one's there, and I can talk while I shoot my guns because once 9 o'clock rolls around, other people show up and they start shooting, and you can't hear me uh, when I'm trying to make some comments. So I get up very early. Actually, I leave the house when it's dark. By the time I get there, it's sun up, and there's still people, and they must live close by that are there, you know. And then that way, by the time I get home by noon or so, I'll be able to do it. Frustration therapy. But yeah, I got to use this format, which, it's free, but I can't put the comments. I like that other format, that other software, but, you know, I can't afford $100 a month uh, to have the full services and all that other stuff unencumbered. They do give me so many hours, so I could gauge that and use it. What I do like about it, because let me see here. End stream, edit, channel settings, dashboard, feedback, manage. See, I'm not quite sure how to get guests on this. Engage your audience. I'm going to click a button and see what happens. Oh, start a Q&A, start a poll. Okay. You guys want a poll? I'll try doing some of this crap just to make things exciting. What kind of poll would you like? What are we going to ask here? Create a poll. Ask a question. Oh, that's pretty simple. Okay. The question is, do you think the world is going to hell in a handbasket? And I guess you get to answer yes or no. Got the spammers. I like those spammers calls. They seem to happen after I drop an informative comment on videos. I don't know. Woman, blonde, 5'6", 120 pounds, funny girl, Polish. Sam Elliott, go vote woman. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, let's see what we got with the poll here. All right, the poll, we're getting 89% yes, 11% no. We got about 16 people. Wish we had some more people there. Spam. Borders are AD. I don't know what AD is with Sam Elliott talking. Yeah, there was something. They had a video out there. Sam Elliott said something, and then everything got. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I was more or less worried about the storms and other things. I try to get, just sample real quick before I start this, see if anything pops up. I go to YouTube. My wife goes to several different news things in the morning. That's the first she does. Gets a cup of coffee, goes and looks at all this stuff. And she was the one telling me about the strike yesterday and this morning, and whatever they say. Yeah, because there's some of this. Let me look for the thing with Sam Elliott. But I really don't check the news that much. There was something about Sam Elliott. Let's try this. Let's try news. Bang. All right, they're talking about how many people. The big news here is in the fatalities. They're not getting a good count because they said only 30 people died, and they said that was 30 in one area. And now I got something here how true it is: 30 plus dead, 600 missing in North Carolina. Okay, I that's something new to me. Um, but that's about it. All right, the Border Czar's got a little video clip discussing it. And Trump said something 1 rough hour, whatever the hell that means. Trump's creepy efforts to make women great again are backfiring. Uh, our enemy's thinking about coordinating a nuke strike on the U.S., warns China expert. I mean, that's all we friggin' need. Yes, and here is from Lake Lure to Asheville flooding. It's showing them dams. That's scary. That's scary shit. All right, we'll go back to all. Let's see. Yeah, I think the U.S. has removed the tax locations and spending to such a degree. It's true. The infrastructure in this country is terrible. That was part. The highway patrol and all this other stuff was part of our defense system. The reason they built it is because, like the Autobahn in Germany, it was a military thing. That's why they all have military people's names dedicating the sections of the highway. And this was done in the 40s, 50s, and 60s as part of our defense. And now they don't do anything with it. Um, you know, a lot of bridges. I forget. There's a large amount of our infrastructure, and this is an ongoing problem, been going on for years. It's broken down, and they had the damn bridge in New York State collapse. Okay, it killed people. I forget how many people died. I've been over that bridge many times because when you cross from where I used to live to Albany or whatever, you had to drive over that damn thing. It's a huge gorge that it goes over. The bridge is massive, and that thing fell once. Okay, I just in these places here, these bridges aren't that huge. They're just little bridges crossing them little streams and that. But I mean, them things collapse. They had pictures of them coming apart, and then you just see the water, and what it's doing is washing out the foundations and everything, and they just go. Because the last time I went there, I went to Gatlinburg. They were doing a lot of repairs on sections of that going through that area. You see when the cement gets all pocked and starts crumbling, they got to go and rebuild it and do stuff. Well, the reloading videos, uh, I only put on a members thing because number one, liability. I had a lot of issues with people asking me questions, and then we get in an argument about them substituting powders, or they tell me, well, I don't want to buy that powder. I believe it's too expensive. I need information with this other powder and all this other crap. And I found that it cuts through the BS just to ask somebody for $3 a month. All the bullshitters just they won't do it. And I don't have to deal with them. And when I put one of my loads up or anything unusual or usual techniques, it all goes to on the members. The only reason I put that video up on Rumble with the 45 long Colt is because you can't get that powder. I don't know if they're ever going to produce it again. So, you know, really, you can't use the information that I put out there. All right, my son went to Germany a few months ago for work. He rented a Porsche 918 for $314 a day to rent a Mustang GT $920 a day. He had to sign a form that he wouldn't take the car on the Autobahn. Tell him I'll rent him my pickup truck for $200 a day. Right, the U.S. needs to increase taxes and start spending significantly on infrastructure. It's kind of like what people said about the Social Security system. Okay? If you charged people their fair share of Social Security tax, which after a certain level, and I know this for a fact, once your income hits a certain level, that amount never increases. You still pay into the Social Security system. Okay? But as your income increases, the amount you pay does not. And people who are millionaires, basically, like they said, they have their New Year's Eve drink, and by the time they finish a glass of wine, that's enough time on the clock for them to have paid their amount. Okay, who should be paying taxes are these deep state or whatever, the billionaires. They should be paying taxes because all when they increase taxes, they just increase taxes on people like me. So if I sell some crap at a yard sale for $600, now I'm going to get taxed if I take any electronic payments through PayPal or anything, and it's 15.3% on the used garbage I'm selling for a few dollars. Okay. So yeah, let them increase taxes. They should legalize all narcotics and then tax the hell out of them like they do with cigarettes. Okay, is what they should do. That's another tax plan. Um, Eliminate this child thing because them people that were making minimum wage and that, I don't think they ever really paid any taxes by the time you get child credits and everything else. They get so much back that they disappear from work for 2 days. Social Security too. It's be a flat rate tax of 25% on all wealth classes. Problem is, yeah, because that lowers 25% is a hell of a lot less than what the fuck I'm paying. And yes, the wealthy, the billionaires, and that have all these write-offs to where you know they avoid that. One weekend, he drove to Italy through Austria. At the Italian border, they advised him to have Italian cash, not credit card machines, for the first two. All right, but Italy's on the euro, ain't it? I don't think in Austria too. They all use euros. The only one that went off the euro, I think Poland's not on it. I don't know about. Hungary and Romania. I know Poland's still zloty, but I thought Italy was on euros. Same with Austria. Now, Crystal Mill has a real good option there. Stop spending money on other countries and migrant freebies. That's another plan. That I think would work nicely because you look at the money, but you see, the reason is if they didn't have the immigrants, if they weren't giving them money, okay, if you look at where they're sending these people, okay, they're sending them into communities that are on the verge of total collapse, okay. So when they give these immigrants the money, see, because people since COVID have been leaving New York City in droves. There's a lot of people moving the hell out of there, okay. And this is a big deal. If you start losing your population, you're losing your tax base, you're losing everything. Nobody's renting uh, apartments or buildings. It's like they're sending them to Chicago. They got abandoned buildings like back where I live. There's abandoned houses, abandoned giant apartment complexes that have been abandoned. Okay. And they burn down. Vagrants go in there in the wintertime, start fires inside the building, stay warm, and then they end up setting the damn buildings on fire. Okay. This is done to shore up these shit areas where they've destroyed the economy. Their taxes are so high. New York, the taxes are so high. Nobody in their right mind can live there. Okay, um, and when they put these illegals in there and give them cash, now they got people with money buying stuff in the store or paying for rent or whatever. There's money flowing in, and this keeps the economy from imploding. Okay, so you have to look at it why they're doing it. Okay, yeah, it'd be great if they stopped giving them all this money, but there is a reason they do it. And when you're the people that just you need more money, just print some more. Class one railroads are in negotiation with employees and crews, members on trains. The companies are wanting to remove people from trains. Palestine, Ohio was a huge disaster. That I really don't understand, that last statement. Bunch of Italian coins he got back. Yeah, okay. Goes two swing states. I don't know about that. $2 coin, same size as our nickel. Yeah, well, if you look at the coin, $2, that's a euro. It's 2 euros. Okay, that's the standard money. And yes, up to fives, I believe, uh, are coins. It's like in Poland. Uh, you get five zloty or whatever is a coin, and then 10 is the lowest paper denomination. International commerce, yeah. Uh, but when he asks what's in the grocery store or whatever, there's also a lot of things come through ports that is used in the manufacture of a lot of products, be it food stuff or things you need. Um, so yes, you don't know if they just stop and lock up everything. It's going to be a disaster. Okay. But yeah, I think And with the storms coming, I got to see how much water my wife donated to the relief and what else she took out of there. Because things are getting unusual. Yeah, 25% flat tax on everybody. Would be a good idea. See what the hell dear old President Trump would have to choke up for that. That would be interesting. Norfolk Southern had a train derailment with toxic fumes. Yes, made national news. The issue found was the company cut costs, made the train. That could be. And then maintenance. The first thing that goes out the window with anyone is maintenance. All right, Palestine, Ohio. Okay, that's where they had derailments and whatever the hell spilled. They never cleaned it up. They tried covering it up. Yep, that's the thing. Uh, the airlines do the same thing. That's what gets me nervous about flying. If they did their damn checks and everything like they should, costs would be insane. Okay, 15 votes, about as many people as we got. And the way our poll went, 93% said yes, the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and only 7% said no. That means one or two people disagree with that. All right, so that's interesting. That's interesting. We can have polls. I'm going to end the poll. There we go. And we post that. Let's see what else they got. Question and answer. What's a Q&A? I'm just going to close that. Oh, here we go again. Ain't even going to look. More spam. Yeah, like you said, they know we're bad mouthing. So, okay, Boeing bankruptcy. All right, Peter, have a good day at work. Oh, you show your support. You put all these little emojis. See what the hell else is up here. I gotta get used to this. Moderate timestamps, reactions, pop out chat. What is a pop out chat? Okay, it's just got this different screen up here. It ain't here. All right. But I guess I'll talk to the gun geek and see if there's a way I could get some other people to chime in on this. And yeah, it's getting late for me. I have some errands to run. But again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We had our little poll done. So that was nice. And let's see. So yeah, like tomorrow I will have them and I'll post something. Most people will see it. Uh, I will do some later in the day, probably during the week, because I want to get things done in the morning. The morning is the time I usually do it, and it's been the weather's been hot and everything for months. But I'll do the change in time, and we'll keep going, and we'll keep going with our daily chats until until we see the outcome, and keep informed and just keep the discussion open. And thanks everybody for showing up. All right. Let me see now.